Hi, Elise here. I'm going to tell you today about an improv activity that's great for team building in your classroom. It also directly hits the I got your back principle in improv, which is all about community and supporting each other and standing up for each other. It's a great exercise for. So here's how I use this activity. This is great for hybrid because you'll probably have smaller groups of students. So what I would do is I would take my kids that I have in person with me outside or into a space that's big, and then I would assign the other class an activity that maybe complements this, maybe an article or a video about communication or community, something that directly connects to the activity, and it'll work both ways, okay? So I take my students outside or into the big space and I have them stand in a socially distant circle, so they're pretty far apart. Maybe the best optimal number for this would be like 8 to 10 students, and even then that's probably a big group, but it's definitely doable. Once your students are standing in a circle, you're going to start a pattern. The first round could be something like names, okay? Each student will only get passed to one time, and you have to remember who passes to you and who you pass to. And so you'll establish a pattern, all right? So for example, I'll have students raise their hands, and when they receive the pattern, they'll put their hand down so that all the students know who still has to get the pattern. So I'm Elise, so I will pass to, I'll say Elise, and then I'll point to Bobby, okay? And then Bobby will put his hand down, and then Bobby will pass to Sylvie, and he'll say Bobby. This is also a little tricky, this first one, because they're looking at another student, but they're saying their own name. And I like that because it's a bit of a brain twist. So you go around the whole circle and until everybody's hand is down, and so you've established a pattern. Then you go again, you do the exact same thing in the exact same order. And you do it a few times until students have fully understood and established that this is the pattern, this is who they pass to, they're really comfortable with it. And then the fun starts. You tell students, all right, remember your first pattern, remember who you passed to, don't forget this. Now we're gonna set a second pattern. This one could be something like colors. Okay, so it's really important that somebody different starts this pattern. So if I started the first pattern, I might have Greg start the second one, okay? So Greg will look at Johnny and he'll say blue, and he'll do the same thing. Have students raise their hands until they've received the color and then have them put them down. So you're establishing a different pattern. You should also pass to somebody in the second round that you didn't pass to before, so it's a distinctly different pattern and a distinctly different setup, okay? Once you've completely gone through the round once and everyone has their hand down, you're gonna do it again, just with the colors. Do it a few times until students are really comfortable with it. Then you're gonna start the first pattern. So I would start the name pattern and I would go a couple of times, okay? So we're just passing it around normally. There's nothing complicated going on. It's just the normal name pattern, but you're passing to exactly the same person every single time, okay? Then if Greg started the color round, I would give a nod to Greg, and then as we're doing the name round, Greg is gonna start the second pattern. So you're gonna have two patterns going on at the same time. Here's why this is fun, and here's when the team building comes up, okay? So let's say that it's my turn to receive, and it's actually, I miss it because I'm not paying attention, okay? If Andrew's passing to me, and I'm not paying enough attention, he's gonna keep trying to pass to me even if I need him to say blue, blue, blue a few times. And this is the team building part because you're all working together to make this activity a success. Once your students or your team members have mastered the two patterns at a time, then you can add a third one, maybe a fourth one, maybe a fifth one, okay? So the third one could be animals, the fifth one could be plants, something, it could be whatever you want, anything that has enough options. You could do cleaning products, cereals, whatever. Doesn't matter. So let me tell you about when I did this with my 8th graders, what happened. So first round, great. Pattern's fine. As soon as we added the second pattern, things started to fall apart. And here's why. They soon realized that if they weren't paying attention the entire time, this would never work. And I love this because it's so easy for students to tune out and just to go somewhere else, but this activity can't work if they're doing that. It also teaches something so valuable about communication. So not only do you have to be listening and attuned to what's going on, but if you start fighting, if you're like, you dropped the orange or you dropped the elephant, it also never works because then there's more shouting. And this is what happened with my 8th graders. So they soon realized that they actually had to listen to each other and to work together and to get each other's backs in order for this to be successful. Full disclosure, they never mastered it, but we're gonna keep trying. So I've only done this one time with this particular group of students. I've done it with other students and they've gotten it down really well. But I think it's also valuable in terms of thinking about progress and thinking about process, right? So I would definitely encourage you to try this if you're in person with your students. This is also possible virtually if everybody has a number or if you're just maybe doing one pattern with names, but it's definitely better in person because you can make eye contact with people. Thank you for checking out this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions about the strategy or want to know more or get in touch with me, you can find my email below and I'm happy to answer your questions.